What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about Healthy Choices Wellness Corp, I wanted to go over the most recent S1 and what it does truly mean for investors. So I'm going to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, I have been covering HCMC's transitioning to HCWC for quite some time. And for those of you that have watched my videos, you would know that it was very clear that HCWC was going to tank between $2 to $3. Management even kind of thought the same, even though the IPO was kind of forecasted to be kind of around that $10 to $9 range. But nonetheless, moral of the story is, all you have to do is look and read the documents. It's very easy to tell what is coming. So starting off, as far as actually on a side note news, there hasn't been anything whatsoever. Even on Reddit, there's been nothing. Just a lot of people, for whatever reason, hyped up this individual 4 months ago saying just added more shares, stock is going to through the roof. Who else? So a lot of pumpers out there. So clearly that didn't really pan out too well for them, because over the last, was it 1 month, it is down 6.95%. Over the last 6 months, down 58.23. So things aren't necessarily that great. But I think in reality, the only thing that might be coming out, which isn't all that positive, is a deficiency notice from the New York Stock Exchange. So given the actual exchange that they are on, so the American, technically they are allowed to be below $1, but they have to maintain a certain amount of shareholder equity. And I think basically they will be nearing the end of that fairly soon. So that means they will be getting a deficiency notice, and you can't really rectify that by doing a reverse stock split. So in my opinion, I do feel Q1 2026 is when the HCWC will be kicked off and back down to OTC, which is kind of ironic because they spent 2 years trying to get it up. But nonetheless, while they were still under HCMC, they were already taking on debt for HCWC. I don't know if that was legally able to be done. I was even calling it out at the time, but HCMC took on a lot of convertible debt. So in case you don't know how that works, is essentially the lower the price, the more shares are issued, because it's a fixed payment that is back, no different than a loan. So the interest has to be paid back with stock. So of course, if the stock price is at $10, then you have a certain amount. But let's say it's at 39 cents. Well, to fulfill that same amount of interest that has to be paid, you have to dilute a lot. So ultimately, looking at this, so there hasn't been all that much in news, and for SEC filings, there's been a couple. So a S1 that was submitted on July the 2nd, and then a prospectus on July the 25th. They're correlated. So ultimately, they are wanting to dilute a additional 2.3 million shares. I know it doesn't sound like all that much, but it kind of goes to show the magnitude of what they are doing. So this 2.3 million, this is the S1, and this is the prospectus. So in here, kind of talks on and explains why they need this 2.3 million additional shares to be registered, and that is because of the Series A convertible preferred stock. So that toxic debt that they HCMC took on for HCWC before the whole spinoff did start, this is going to destroy the stock. And single-handedly, this is exactly why I did mention was going to happen. And I believe HCWC already took on a second round of convertible debt. So it is only going to escalate the potential downtrend. As I've mentioned, management technically doesn't own any shares, so they don't really give a crap about it. So any investor trying to pump it, or even just own it, I would be very, very cautious if I were you. But nonetheless, this is why they are wanting to dilute and register an additional 2.3 million, because they need to pay more shares than what was previously estimated. So most likely, given everything, they will be doing another kind of one of these prospectuses in, I would assume, maybe 6 months, because this 2.3 million isn't going to suffice. So let me know your general thoughts on that. I know this might be over the head of a lot of individuals, but if you actually read the document, I know a lot of companies try to hide a lot of kind of finite details in these like 113 pages, but this one actually makes it fairly simple because it is on the front page on exactly why they need these shares. So yeah, let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. Do you own it still? Because I know they did the whole transition. So a lot of investors who had HCWC got shares of HCWC, but they don't really care because I think it was just pennies on the dollar. They kind of already mentally took a loss on HCWC as well as HCMC. So yeah, what's your general thoughts? Are you holding? Are you selling? Like, what is your kind of viewpoint on all of that? And as I've mentioned, honestly, the best way to actually make money with HCWC is to short it. And very rarely do I ever recommend shorting a stock. But quickly going over here, only 1.81% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 57,000 shares. So like shorts don't really care about this stock at all. So it's rather comical. And like I said, even the last time I did mention like, hey, might be good to potentially short it, it was at $5. And prior to even the whole reverse stock split, I said like, hey, the only way to actually make money is short it. And so yeah, if you would have listened, you would be up a significant amount. This stock doesn't have any options, so you can't really buy puts against it. But honestly, the writing's on the wall that this is doomed, especially given the nature of the economy right now. HCWC is not going to last. Let me know your general thoughts. I know that's kind of blunt and straight to the point, but it needs to be said. One final thing though, if you are looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, pop over to my Patreon. Definitely worthwhile. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.